Hello friend, Jim here with JB's Big Adventure coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. Now, this is one of those kind of videos that I've actually had a number of people over a period of time. I mean, I should have done this video some time back, but I'm getting to it now. So those of you that have reached out to me, reminded me of kind of video that you wanted for this, well, here it is. So this video is really important. But before I get to the information I want to share with you, if you haven't already, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's a great community, and I know you want to be a part of it. It's fast, free, and easy to do. In the bottom right-hand corner is a little red box. Tap on it, you're subscribed, you'll know when our next video comes out. Also, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. That lets other people know it's a great video to watch about retiring to Lake Chapala. Okay, so something that kind of gets talked a lot about here, and that is expats that move here and wanting to make Mexico like what they're accustomed to at home, whether it's those in the States or Canada. And it's something that's, you know, there's a lot of talk about it because of the fact that, you know, for different reasons, people are actually moving here to Lake Chapala. And one of the biggest reasons, I would say, is because, you know, the world that we live in, the life that we live in the States and Canada is fast-paced. And one of the things that we are able to take advantage of here at Lake Chapala is a laid-back lifestyle. Being able to unplug, being able to decompress, and stop and smell the roses. And speaking of roses, we got some beautiful ones here in the yard. So one of the things that happens a lot here, and it's something that every time I hear this, I make sure I'm checking to see what's there or what's going on. And because there's only one highway between basically Ajijic and going to Chapala, there's one highway, and it can get congested. Now, right now, we're in the low season, which means there's probably somewhere around 20 to 30,000, 35,000 expats here. Because we're in the low season, what that means is that a large number of expats that are snowbirds and such won't be here until about November. But right now, you can definitely tell that it's lighter. But we also know that it's like flipping a switch. And once November gets here, it's like it's flipping a switch and automatically there's a lot more cars on the road. It's something else. Because I know that this year even, once we got to about April, it's like somebody flipped the switch and nobody was here. So it was really interesting. So let me go ahead and get back to this subject here. People move here, I would say, for a slower paced life. Barbara and I, we moved here. I was under a lot of stress, dealing with some things, some health issues, and a lot of anxiety. And I've been able just to kind of really relax, take it easy here. And I think it's really helped. It's really made a big difference. So when you're out on the road and all of a sudden you're honking going on, I very rarely have ever seen an expat honking at another expat. What I've seen is expats honking the horns for the Mexican people. And something that needs to really be brought to shore and brought to the surface is we are in their country. We are visitors. You know, this is their country, and I will tell you, there are incredible people here, really good people. And I've enjoyed and appreciated the whole time that we've been here. Although there are challenges, and I'm going to share some of those with you. But I think what has to happen is an expat, they've got to realize that they're coming to a place where it's slower pace. They've got to be looking for a slower pace, because if they're not, they're impatient. They expect things right now, Johnny on the spot. We're living in the States in a microwave society. Here, they're putting the kettle on the stove. So it's slower. But that's the reason a lot of people come here, is because the pace of life is a whole lot less. And I'd like to encourage you, if you're looking to come to Lake Chapala, I want to encourage you just to know you're going to come to a place where there's a lot less speed. You might not get your meal as quick as you do in the States or in Canada. Or you might not get service the same as you would in the States or in Canada. But by all means, realize that we're in their country and we need to be very, very cognizant of that, conscientious of that, but more important, take it to heart. That is their country, and we need to be very, very respectful to who they are. Because after all, they're great people. They're really great people. So that's one of the things, a slower pace of life. So folks come here from the States, and I see it time after time. Everything's got to happen quick, the way they're expecting it to be. I mean, we've been out with folks to dinner, and there have been folks I know that have gotten upset because they didn't get something right away. And I'll tell you, I know there's been a time or two that we've gone to a restaurant, Barbara and I, and it's really taken quite a while for someone to get to us. Now, I found out recently that one of the reasons that this happens at one of the restaurants is because of the fact that people just walk in and take a seat. And because they've cordoned off, I guess, the tables in certain ways, some folks don't realize that there is somebody there sitting in their area. And so it's really, really important that when you come here, you realize that they want to serve. They're good people. They want to do things right. They want to make us happy. And we've got to give them the chance to do that. So I'll raise my hand and said, you know what, there's been times where I've been a bit impatient. And either Barbara said something or I just have to remember that it's okay. It's all right. It's a different pace of life. I need to be willing to accept that. So, slower pace of life. Shopping. So people come here from the States and they say, I went to Walmart and I could not tell what in fact was in this package. They ought to have words in English. They ought to, I've had folks tell me that Walmart should have American prices, so we can in fact see what the prices are of things and easily be able to understand what we're paying for it. We're in Mexico. That would be like being in the States and being, let's say, in Texas or California, New Mexico, wherever it may be, and someone who's from Mexico is living in the States and they go to Walmart and say, you know what, those signs need to all be in Spanish. How would we feel? Well, that can be the same way as we are observed being here. Again, we've got to remember, it's their country. Things are going to be in Spanish. Is it going to be easy to do your shopping in the beginning? No, and Barbara still has a time with this, and sometimes we have to look up Google Translate or try to find out if there's somebody that speaks English. But when you go to Domino's Pizza, Costco, Home Depot, Burger King, Walmart, the grocery stores here locally, Soriana's, Poncho's, Super Lake, everything's in Spanish. And that's okay. You don't always know what's inside until you maybe use Google Translate or ask about if there's somebody there that speaks English. But it can be challenging. And so there is a time of, I had a certain name for it here. What did I call it? We've got to get accustomed to things being in Spanish. Again, we're in their country. We need to be learning English. Okay, we'll start this one over. No, we should be learning Spanish so we can communicate with them, not wishing that they spoke English and communicated with us. And it's something that's really important. And I right now, I'm doing some things to try to get better at Spanish. I'm understanding more now, and I definitely try to speak it as much as I can when we're out and about. So just know too that everything here is not in the pounds and inches and feet and yards. Weight here is in metrics, millimeters, centimeters, liters, kilograms, kilos, kilometers. It's something that you've got to get used to. And when they say it's a liter, when they say it's a liter, I got to remind myself, let's see, how many liters are there to a quart? How many liters are there to a gallon? I mean, it takes some getting used to. I mean, it really takes some getting used to. So just know that coming here, there's going to be a process of being acclimated, kind of getting used to seeing what you see. And you see it enough times. So it's really important, again, to know that if you're coming here, just realize you're not going to be looking at inches and feet. I mean, we recently were trying to measure something, and we had to go get us a tape measure that actually had centimeters and millimeters on it, because Barbara was buying something, and we didn't know what the distance or the size of it was. So we had to go get a tape measure to measure something. So know that here everything's in metrics. And so it takes getting used to it. It takes getting used to it. But I want to tell you, though, if you're planning on coming here, you got to just know you're going to have to get used to it. It might not be the next day or the next week or the next month, but just know it's something we have to get used to because that's the way things are here. Traffic. I mentioned some about this earlier, that, some folks don't like to travel to Guadalajara because they say they can't stand the traffic. Well, being from Southern California, I mean, is it traffic? Yeah, but it's not traffic. When you're in LA and you've got 6 lanes on each side and it's at 5 o'clock and it's hot, I will tell you tempers flare. And when you're stop and go, that's traffic. LA is traffic. Here, it's not traffic. We've now driven to Guadalajara, the two of us, several times now. Now, Barbara always wants me to drive, and I have no problem with it. I have no problem at all driving in Guadalajara. It isn't as bad as what I'm used to. I mean, I'm accustomed to it. It might not be everybody that feel that way, but I feel that way, and it doesn't bother me. Somebody says, let's go to Guadalajara. It's not like I don't want to drive. No, it's not a big deal. So just know that the traffic. Remember, and again, I bring this back up again. The Mexican people were here first. It just so happens that the population at Lake Chapala has grown. But it's grown because of expats being here. So it's something that we've all got to remember and buy into. It's their country. Let's treat them with respect and realize that we need to learn the things that we need to learn, because we need to go realize it's going to be slower. It's going to be metrics. Things aren't going to come as fast. I mean, even in the States, we live in I call it a microwave society. If you go to McDonald's and you don't get your hamburger fast enough, they just want you to put it into a slingshot and sling it out the window. I mean, I'm grateful here. I'm really grateful. I'm really glad it is slower. So the traffic's something that folks have an issue with, and just realize you come here. Yeah, depending on where you're at from the country, but it isn't really all that bad. I mean, you can still get across town. Yeah, you're going to wait in cars, sure. But it isn't like every single hour of the day it's like that. I mean, it isn't as bad as some make it seem. And I really try to remind people that I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful for the beautiful weather. I'm grateful for all the colors and all the plants and everything that's here. It's great life, a great life. Okay, here's another one. Well, they should be accepting U.S. dollars here. They should be taking my money. Or I need to be able to use my credit card there. Give me a break. We're in Mexico. I mean, again, that would be like somebody that comes to the States and says, hey, they should be accepting pesos. And you don't hear Mexican folks that live in the States say that. So why is it we come here and says, no, they need to be accepting dollar bills? No, they don't. No, they don't. I just recently, I did something for someone, help them out with a little something, and they paid me two $50 bills. Well, I'd asked them originally, and this is an American, to please pay it to me in basically in pesos, and it didn't happen. So today we had to go to get it exchanged, and you lose a little bit when you exchange because there's a fee. But I much rather, when I'm here, I'm carrying pesos, or when I've got money on me. Barbara sometimes has it, but I'm carrying pesos around. I have no problem with it. The majority of the restaurants, the majority of the places you can eat at here, there is a mass majority of them that don't take credit cards. Now, there are some that do take credit cards, but there's a lot of them that don't. So you come here, realize they're smaller businesses, they don't accept credit cards. Just realize that you just need to make sure you're coming here, that you've got pesos on hand. Again, I mentioned this to folks, and that is, you came here because you wanted life to be different. We can't make it here like it is back home. In fact, I've actually got a little JPEG that I'm actually putting up in this video so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can get really frustrated, and in the beginning, you just got to get used to it. But it's easy to start knowing how to work this, and that is this. Realize that for every dollar, that's 20 Mexican pesos. So if something is 100 pesos, you're at Walmart, you're at the grocery store, and something's 100 pesos, that's $5. Something is 1,000 pesos, that's $50. That's how you learn it. I mean, it's just like that. So it just takes getting used to being able to count it that way. And granted, I normally have Barbara, when we're out in the meals and doing all stuff, let her take care of it. I mean, as I said, I came here, I want to be able to kick back, and I let her take care of most of the money stuff, because I just need to decompress, and that's why we came down here. So it takes getting acclimated here, but realize that you can do it. We've done it. So it is something that can be done. Mexican food, or food. That's probably one of the things that's been most difficult for me. I was raised in Southern California, and we ate a lot of Mexican food. Moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico when I was 13, and my stepmother was from New Mexico, so I was basically raised on Mexican food. Now, California Mexican food and New Mexico Mexican food are different. Now, do they both have cheese, enchiladas, beans, and rice? Being a vegetarian, yes, they both have that. But in New Mexico, you've got red and green chili. You've got some things that makes it different. It makes it, I would say, even better. But the thing is, that's not the Mexican food here. Now, just like that, if you go to California to eat Mexican food and you go to New Mexico to eat Mexican food, there's a difference. You'll be able to taste the difference. It'll be a different seasoning, a different flavor. But if you go from New Mexico to Texas, they have Tex-Mex. Well, I assure you, Tex-Mex Mexican food is not food from New Mexico. It's not food from California. It's Tex-Mex. So there's three states in the states that their food's different. Same thing here in Mexico. The food that you get in the state of Jalisco is going to be different than what you're going to get when you're in Mexico City, or maybe when you're up the coast some. Different states. Different states have different things the way they do it. Here, when you get enchiladas, you're not getting cheddar cheese. They make their own cheese here. That's been difficult for me to get used to, but I'm adapting. So you don't get cheddar cheese. Here they don't really have flour tortillas. Everything for the most part is corn. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're getting a quesadilla, whatever you're getting. For the most part, it's always corn tortilla. Now, If you go northern part of the country, then you get into flour tortillas. So from what I understand, different things are grown in different parts of Mexico. Up there, they got more wheat. Down here, got more corn. So there's reasons why there are differences when it comes to regions. It's exactly what they've got here. And that is that you've got to get used to what is here and get acclimated to it. Now I'm getting better at it because I'm finding things that I like to eat here. And yeah, one says Domino's. It says Domino's. Domino's Mexican pizza. No, the pizza's just like it is in the States. That's a funny one. The guys are there know who I am. I'm the gringo that comes in there just vegetarian. I don't get any meat on my pizza. But yeah, it's funny going to Domino's and everything there is all in Spanish. So I've gotten used to it though. So the Mexican food, you know, there's no Taco Bell. You don't get into even Guadalajara and find those things. Now, are there American restaurants? Absolutely. Denny's. You'll find IHOP, International House of Pancakes. You'll find, what are the other restaurants I had on here? There's no pinto beans here for the most part. They don't use pinto beans. They don't use cheddar cheese. They don't use flour tortillas. They don't use red or green chili. And just know it doesn't taste the same. I talk to folks, they love the Mexican food here, but they're not real Mexican food eaters. And they come from who knows where. I mean, they could be from Missouri, or they could be from Florida. They could be from Maine. I mean, they come here and it tastes great because they're not really used to eating Mexican food. So that's one of the things here that it's been a challenge for me. And I'm working into it. We go places, and I've started eating more of the food. So I'm even getting acclimated to it. So there you go. Okay, another thing folks talk about. Well, they can't watch the TV and they can't watch the local news. Well, what local news are you looking for? They said they can't watch our local stations. Well, isn't the reason that those of us that are expats that leave the States, we're okay to not have the news every day? Because now we're somewhere else. Now we get to live differently. Now we get to be more relaxed. And I guarantee you, I hear this all the time. In fact, I've got actually supporters, some viewers and subscribers that said they love my crime videos and they share them with their families. And I said, good, because they get to know what the truth is. They get to know the truth. And that's coming from somebody that's done quite a bit of research, making sure that the numbers and everything were correct. So you've got to know that when you're here, do you really want to watch local stations? I mean, Barbara and I mean, we don't watch TV that's from, unless we see it on YouTube, because we just have internet. We also have Fire Stick, but we don't care about the news back home. I mean, it's we're glad to be here. I mean, this is our life. This is life. Now, yeah, when I call back and I'm talking to family, my mom and stuff, wanting to make sure that they're okay. But the thing is the crime there is so much different, so much different. You want to see a real video, go back and watch the one I did probably 2-3 weeks ago, all about the crime, comparing it to the States. Unbelievable video, unbelievable. Took me like 2.5 months to do all the research to put it all together. So watching TV, get internet. You get the internet here. And you'll hear a lot of times that the internet is slow. But that's if you're in an older part of Lake Chapala. Now, we're in San Antonio, and where we're at, it's optic fiber. And it also was on the last place that we lived at. So it's faster. In fact, we pay today. I paid for 80 gigs back in Albuquerque. I want to say it was $140 a month. Here, we have 200 megabits per second, and we pay $27, and it's fast. So we don't worry about having a TV. We've got a TV, but I'm talking about getting the stations from back in the States. So we watch. I mean, we find out there's stuff that's on TV that's on YouTube that's from Albuquerque, but for the most part, I mean, it's not like every day we're wanting to know what the news is back home, because we came here for a reason, and that is to decompress and unplug and such. So the internet speeds. People say I get slow. I don't get very good internet speed. Well, it depends on what part of the town you're in. And that's another thing. When you're looking at moving here, you want to make sure you're moving to a place. If that's really important to you, find out what the speed of the internet is. And you can do that by simply using an app. And the rental agent or the realtor or whoever it may be, management company, they can actually go and take the app, speedtest.net, and find out what the speed is. So, and they can take a screenshot and then send it to you. So, another big one, speaking Spanish. Being from Albuquerque, New Mexico, as I was growing up and everything, and I started learning Spanish. And I worked at a landscaping company when I worked my way through high school, and I got around guys that were from here. But it's important to learn it here. I really believe that the Mexican people are so gracious that if you try to speak it, they're accepting of that. They accept that. I mean, you're trying. The same way as that they're trying to speak English to us. So when you're coming here, if you're looking to move in here, I would say brush up on Spanish. Learn some Spanish. Go get Duolingo, which is free, and you can learn Spanish. It'd be a great benefit. Really, really a good benefit for you. It would make a big difference, speaking Spanish. Because no, Spanish is spoken here. It's their country. We need to learn, speak Spanish. Expect to pay more for Amazon items. So I get folks complaining because when they're in the States, yes, there's taxes, but you don't get the tariff because it's not going across the border. When things come to Mexico, whether you order it from Mexico, if you get it from Mexico, Amazon, or Amazon Mexico, they add the tariff to the price, so the price looks like it's higher. But the same thing, if you're ordering from the States and it's coming, there's going to be an added fee onto it. That's just the way it is. And yes, you can have Amazon US. We've had stuff delivered from Amazon US, so it can be delivered here. And just know that you're going to pay more for it. So it's something you need to be aware of. And I don't know why somebody would complain. I mean, people would complain about that, but it's something else I've heard that, we shouldn't have to be paying. Well, it's coming across the border. That's why things are more expensive in Mexico, because it does come across the border. So we have to be understanding of that. Noise. People says, well, I wish it was quiet. Well, what you need to know is if you're going to come here and live, come here for a week before you decide you're going to move here. And then look at the different areas. You can drive through an area. You can go, on a Friday night or a Saturday night just to kind of see what the sounds are like. I mean, you'll find that there's dogs bark. You'll find that there'll sometimes be sirens. You'll hear firecrackers or fireworks going off, right? Bottle rockets. They're festive. They love their music loud, and it's a part of the culture. And so we need to be very, very understanding of that and very accepting. And it's a part of the culture, and that's what makes them Mexican. And it's a great place to be. Great place to be. Have I said that enough times? So the noise. Just realize you could be living in an area where there's a bunch of noise. Fortunately, we haven't. I mean, we could hear some things happening because it comes from a distance, but it isn't like it's been, a problem to us or anything. People enjoy living life and having a good time. More Americans ought to do that. Live life. Enjoy life more. So it's important. So you come in here, you might find that there's a little bit of noise, but realize we're in Mexico. The water. Don't drink the water out of the tap unless it is filtered water, unless it's been purified. Now, where we live now, the owner actually tested the water and says the water is really good where we're at. I guess it's filtered in one way or another. But Mexico is the #1 per capita country that has bottled water. #1 per capita. So a lot of bottled water. Now, Barbara and I, we still get purified water. We still have them bring the jugs. You know, they're delivered every Wednesday, and we just swap them out. And it's not a problem. We have fresh, purified water, so it isn't a big deal. You get like 5 gallons for, I don't even know how much of that. I want to say $1.50 or something. It isn't much. It's not much, but don't drink the tap water unless you know for certain what it is, because you don't want to get sick. And people do get sick, and they do it because they're not really paying attention to what they're doing. So don't drink the tap water. And for somebody to come down here and says, well, you know, the water isn't even able to have the ability to be able to drink it and all. It's like, wait a minute. There's places in the States that don't have good water, and people love to complain. It's a frustrating thing sometimes. People have to understand we're in their country. This is the way they do things. Come here, realize it's a different pace, more relaxed, enjoyable. Here's what you will find here. So those are all the things that, I think I got them all here. So what are you going to find? You're going to find that the Mexican people are friendly, hardworking. The Mexican people are really hardworking. They're really friendly. You'll see them smile. They'll wave at you. They're modest. They're very humble. And living here, we have fresh, clean air. Crisp. I mean, we live by a lake. It's wonderful. Crisp. I mean, it rains at night. Keeps the air fresh. Couldn't have it any better. Couldn't have it any better. Fresh, clean, cool air. Pleasant temperatures. Eternal spring. Right now, I'd be surprised if it was any higher than probably 70 degrees. I would say it's probably about where it's at right now, 71 degrees, somewhere in there. So temperature is wonderful. As you see, I'm not wearing my long sleeves, so it's nice. Also, you can live here on less. Some friend of ours actually live in a house. It's in the States. Well, here it's $1 million home, but in the States it'd be several $1 million, and they pay $1,400 a month for it. $1,400 for a multi-million-dollar house. So if you're paying $3,000 for rent, and you come here, I already know some folks that live in $3,000 a month rental places, and you got a beautiful view lake, you got the pool, got a club, big house, or you're actually on the lake, take a boat right onto the lake. So you're able to actually afford more here. And if you're looking at coming here from the States and want to spend $3,000 a month, you'll find a place. If you're paying $1,000 a month in the States, you come here, you're probably going to be that same place that you're talking about, size-wise and everything. You might find here for, I mean, if it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, you could find them here for $500, $550, $600, somewhere in there. We've been paying $650, and it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. So, are those everywhere? No. But just know that you can live on less here. You can live on less, and your money goes farther. So, well, I hope that's been helpful for you. And for those of you that have been emailing me and such and reaching out, I think you really enjoyed this video. And I hope it's exactly what you were looking for. So, if these things are going to bother you, don't come here. I'm sharing with you in advance. This is what it's like here. But I will tell you, it's a great place to be. Great place to be. Love the people. Life's great. Life's great. Well, if you haven't already, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's a great community, and I know you want to be a part of it. All you got to do is go to the little red box in the bottom right-hand corner, tap on it, you're subscribed, and you'll know when our next video comes out. Also, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. That lets other people know it's a great video about retiring to Lake Chapala. Also, you can stop by and say hi, leave a message, ask a question. Let us know of a video idea you'd like to see. And also make sure you hit the bell, because that way you'll be immediately notified when our next video comes out. You want to make sure you know about our next video. So with that, as always, thank you so much for being a part of this channel and supporting us. Thank you for being a part of this video. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the next video.